Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever 2K18 Universe Mode Draft. My name is Jacob Bullock. I'm the General Manager of SmackDown Live.
And I'm Dennis Ortman, the Commissioner of Raw, filling in for Matt Cook, the General Manager.
Right, you guys know the drill on how this draft goes. We're going to take turns picking superstars to each of our shows. We're going to try to put on the best weekly shows possible for you, and we want you to let us know what you think. If you feel one of us got screwed, let us know in the comments. Do you think one of us got away with an amazing victory? Let us know below as well. Until then, according to the coin toss that took place before the show, SmackDown gets the first ever pick for the 2K18 draft. And I think it's an easy one. For me personally, I gotta go with who I believe is the best wrestler in the world today, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Of course you would. Okay. So, what Matt and I both agree on for Raw is that we both want to build something new, something that's our own. And to help us with this, we can think of nobody better for our first pick than the architect himself, Seth Rollins.
That's a good one. Alright. Well, you guys might have an architect, but for SmackDown's number 2 pick, I can think of no one better than someone who has come from across the ocean to bring his own style and his own flair to the WWE. It's a name you all know, and it starts with an S. I'm talking about no one else but Shinsuke Nakamura.
Alright. Fair enough. What we need next on Raw is somebody with courage and guts. And this man had the balls to headbutt Vince McMahon in the face, and he got away with it. So for our second pick, Kevin Owens.
Damn, that was actually a good one. That was actually a good one. All right. Well, SmackDown's gonna have to bounce back by picking up one of the real franchise players of the WWE. You guys might know him as a 16-time world champion, John Cena.
All right, that's fine. Not too upset about that one. He is a part-timer after all.
Ooh.
But if you're going for icons, I think that my next pick is going to be somebody who is known for destroying icons, such as Roman Reigns, the unbreakable Braun Strowman.
Damn. All right. Well, you want to talk about unbreakable? Well, bringing her over to SmackDown Live, we're going to bring an unbreakable win streak. I'm talking about the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka.
Okay, that's fair enough. However, I think Asuka is still untested in the big leagues. She has yet to come up here. She's still down in NXT, and she's doing great in NXT. But, counter that, I'm going to bring in the first woman to hold both women's championship belts. Alexa Bliss.
Damn it. Oh. Okay. Well, I have plenty of single stars. I have my first woman. I think it's time that I draft a tag team. And I'm going to draft a tag team that a lot of people maybe didn't think would turn out to be as fantastic as they are. But they are by far setting the bar for tag team competition all over the world. Sheamus and Cesaro are coming to SmackDown Live.
Adding to our powerhouse roster, he's the big dog in the yard, one of the only 2 people to beat The Undertaker. We're going to bring on Roman Reigns.
Hey man, I mean, you do you. But I think with a decision like that, Raw just made the list, because coming to SmackDown Live is Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho is a great wrestler. I'm glad you got him, but you can keep your lists and your gimmicks and your overblown personalities. We're just going to stick with straight up power and skill. And I can think of no one else to bring on that fits that description than the first 2-time NXT champion, Samoa Joe.
Oh, man. Damn, that is good. But you want to talk about destruction. How about I'm going to bring on a guy who has possibly been the single most unstoppable force in the cruiserweight division. No. You know what? On Raw, I dare say, for this last year, I'm bringing on the king of the cruiserweights, Neville.
You know, you drafted a real king with that one. And I gotta say, it's a great pick. But a king is still just a man. And why draft a man when you can draft a demon? Finn Bálor.
Okay. Alright, well, I think for SmackDown's next pick, we're going to bring someone who has been at the center of controversy for much of recent memory, but you know what? This man has been must-see TV. So along with his wife Maurice, coming to SmackDown Live is The Miz.
You know, that's great. You got a lot of big personalities over there, and I can respect that. I think Raw needs some big personalities now. So, you know what? I'm gonna draw 3 big personalities.
3MB?
Nah. I'm gonna draft the longest reigning tag team champions to date, New Day.
Alright, well, New Day may rock, but I dare say that there is a younger, newer team on the scene that just might give them a run for their money as the greatest tag team in the WWE. And I'm talking about Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson, The Revival.
Alright. Gonna bring it back to the women's division for a second. Both of us, we got a lot of personalities, a lot of powerhouses, a lot of big names. But there's a big difference between drafting a name and drafting a legacy. So, for our women's division, the genetically superior queen, Charlotte.
Right, well, Raw may have just become genetically superior, but there's one thing that Raw isn't, and that's glorious, because we are drafting Bobby Roode.
That one hurts. Bobby Roode is in fact glorious, but again, I think legacies are glorious in their own right. So we're going to bring on a third-generation superstar. 13-time world champion Randy Orton.
You know, with legacies, I feel like you're just trapping yourself in the past, you know? I like to think that SmackDown Live is going to trailblaze into the future. And what better way to trailblaze than with the straight fire of Becky Lynch?
Alright, while you're trailblazing your path to the future, I'm going to get somebody who lives in the present. Goes fight by fight. The brawling lunatic himself, Dean Ambrose.
Well, you want to talk about fighters. SmackDown's going to go ahead and take a gamble because we're going to draft possibly the single best fighter the WWE has. Because, ladies and gentlemen, coming to SmackDown Live is the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar.
Alright. You want to talk about fighters? I think it's time I draft my own tag team pick. And they've been one of the best fighting teams since day one-ish. Ladies and gentlemen, the Usos.
Well, you know, you got a solid tag team there of 2 people, 2 brothers. I'm going to draft a team of 4. Because, ladies and gentlemen, coming to SmackDown Live, the unhinged Sanity.
For our next pick, I think Raw is going to bring the boss to our women's division, Sasha Banks.
Sasha's a good one. Sasha's a good one. You're going to have a boss. I'm going to have an underdog from the underground. We're bringing on Sami Zayn to SmackDown.
After all the ups and downs of Sami's career, I feel like he could use a hug. Too bad we're going to bring Bayley over to Raw. So.
Well, you know, SmackDown may not be filled with hugs, but it is going to have a rebel heart because Johnny Gargano coming to SmackDown Live.
All right. You drafted yourself a Rebel Heart. I think we're going to go with a Black Heart. With Tommaso Ciampa.
Ooh, that's a big one. Alright, well, Raw might have just gotten a Black Heart, but I think SmackDown is going to have the single darkest presence in the company because the lone wolf, Baron Corbin, is coming to SmackDown Live.
You know, Baron Corbin, great pick. He's one of the most unstoppable forces to ever grace the WWE. But I think I'm going to go with my own unstoppable force. Made big names for themselves down in Japan. Raw is going to draft the Club.
You know what? SmackDown's going to take a chance with our next pick. You see, this is someone who's been a bit on the outs lately, but I think it's time to bring her right back to the spotlight. So we're going to draft Paige to SmackDown Live.
Well, you know, if she's been on the outs, maybe she needs to learn to follow the buzzards over to Raw, because coming to Raw is Bray Wyatt.
You know, before we continue here, I got to ask, where did you get this whole ensemble here that you got going on? Like, what is this shirt? You know, I really feel like my next two picks to SmackDown Live would have a huge issue with your getup here, because coming to SmackDown Live are the fashion popo themselves, Breezango.
You can insult my fashion sense all you want. It's a little bit immature. But I'm just going to stick to my list and keep signing on the most talented people I can. And right now, there's no one more hot right now than Jinder Mahal.
You know, you say that you just drafted one of the hottest prospects in the WWE, but sometimes all it takes is an ember to start a fire. And coming to SmackDown Live is Ember Moon.
Nobody has the burning passion that my next pick has, carrying the legacy of the entire Hart family on their shoulders. Our next pick is Natalya.
You know, you want to talk about legacies. There is a legacy in the professional wrestling world known as Lucha Libre, and I am drafting one of the world's best luchadors to SmackDown Live. I'm talking about Kalisto.
You know what? That's fine. You can have your luchadors. Raw is going to feel the glow with Naomi.
You know, Naomi is a great pick. She was a wonderful champion, but she wasn't the first ever Miss Money in the Bank like SmackDown Live's next pick, Carmella.
This man was once touted as a king of wrestling, the knockout artist himself, Cassius Ohno.
Well, I guess you got 2 KOs on Raw now. But, you know, I'm going to bring over someone who's really wanting to make more of a name for herself in the women's division. Someone who is at the top down in NXT, but has been a little shaky ever since coming to the main roster. But I think she'll fit in just fine on SmackDown Live. I'm talking about Emma.
Next for Raw, somebody who's found success all over the world, Roderick Strong.
Alright, well, Roderick Strong is great for anyone with daddy issues, but I'm going to bring a relatively new tag team over to SmackDown Live. I'm taking the chance with the Brian Kendrick and the Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, well, that's a brand new tag team, and some really good talent between the two of them, but I'm going to stick with a tried and true tag team, the Authors of Pain.
Alright, well, I got one of the world's greatest luchadors on my brand. I might as well bring on one more, a finalist of the Cruiserweight Classic, Gran Metalik.
You know, this guy is going through a bit of an identity crisis, but I think we can really help him find himself. Dolph Ziggler.
You know, there's something that no one can really question, and that's when a man has kids and when he really needs a job, and we're keeping this man with his job. We're bringing Heath Slater and Rhino to SmackDown Live.
Great tag team. You know what, Rhino is just an absolute brute. So I think I need to draft my own brute now. the Bulgarian brute, Rusev.
You know, maybe brutes aren't what we need on SmackDown Live. Maybe what we need is a duo that can make everything iconic. I'm talking about Peyton Royce and Billie Kay.
You know, he's gone through the turmoil of the Wyatt family. Now he's going solo. I got a lot of respect for this man, Luke Harper.
You want to talk about respect? Here's a man who feels like he's been disrespected by the entire WWE universe after being one of the hottest acts in all of Japan. I'm talking about Hideo Itami, and he's coming right over to SmackDown Live.
You know, one thing we want to do over on Raw is break down barriers. And when we break down barriers, we're going to take it worldwide. We're going to draft Titus, Apollo, and Akira from Titus Worldwide.
Well, what better way to break barriers than to compete in the World Olympics like SmackDown's newest pick, Chad Gable?
I think the Olympics are a great competition, but honestly, I don't think they hold a candle to our own competitions. So, I'm going to draft the Cruiserweight Classic winner, TJ Perkins.
You know, I'm thinking whether or not this is a good idea. This is a guy who, there is a huge controversy going on with him, and maybe, just maybe, he can help bring SmackDown up to that next level like he claims he can do. Alright, we're giving Enzo Amore a shot.
One of the most successful women of all time. She took a break for a while, but she's come back, and she is kicking all kinds of ass. Mickie James.
Alright, well there is one thing that SmackDown Live is about to have that Raw can only ever imagine, and that is a non-stop fiesta, because we're getting No Way Jose to SmackDown Live.
You know what? That is a great pick, but you know what? It's not perfect. So we're going to bring on the perfect 10. Tye Dillinger.
Alright, our next pick over on SmackDown is going to be a big name. In fact, he is the biggest name, and I'm talking about The Big Show.
You know, Big Show has made quite the name for himself right here, but we're going to try and draft more worldwide talent, really bring out the diversity of Raw, and I can think of no one better to bring in than TM61.
You know, TM61 are a fantastic pick, but there's one thing that they're not. They ain't hyped. Like my next pick for SmackDown Live, the Hype Bros.
You know, you want to talk about hype. I don't think this guy has had a bad day in his life. His personality is infectious, and his fighting is unstoppable. Rich Swann.
Well, from one cruiserweight to another, I'm going to bring over the Crown Prince of the Pinky Party, Noam Dar.
Noam Dar is a great pick, but he's not much of a crowd pleaser. No, I want to bring in a fan favorite, like Cedric Alexander.
Well, if you want to talk crowd pleasers, then you got to look no further than the melodic performances of SmackDown's next pick, Aiden English.
You know, these guys have been toiling around for a while now, but I think they might find just what they need over on Raw. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel.
Alright, here's a guy who just went solo for the first time in his career very recently. We're going to give him a shot on SmackDown. We're talking about Big Cass.
I noticed for my drafts that we have a lot of powerhouses for the men, but not a lot for the women. So I think for my next choice, I'm going to bring in the female powerhouse, Nia Jax.
SmackDown's next pick brings in two guys who are veterans. They have traveled all over the world, but they are most known for the time in Puerto Rico. I'm talking about the Colons.
Bringing out another legacy to Raw, though, might not be the most legitimate way of doing things. I'm going to bring in Jason Jordan.
We're going to bring in a woman to SmackDown who hasn't really had much of a chance to shine outside of NXT, but I think she's going to get the spotlight that she wants, Dana Brooke.
You know, you got quite a few luchadors down there on SmackDown. I think I'm going to draft my own. And I think I'm going to pick the best one, Sin Cara.
Well, SmackDown's going to bring on a force of unadulterated aggression. We're going to bring on the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions of all time, The Ascension.
For Raw's next pick, we're going to bring on the ever-appealing Alicia Fox.
Now here's a woman who has never really broken out of her dancing shadow from the time she was with Fandango. We're going to bring Summer Rae over to SmackDown.
You know, Matt and I have some real golden aspirations for Raw, and who better fits the bill than Gold?
Well, I guess the answer to that question might just be Goldust's former tag team partner in the Golden Truth, R-Truth, coming to SmackDown Live.
Rounding off the last of the disbanded Wyatt family, I think he can make a good name for himself, Erick Rowan.
Look, if you think Erick Rowan is going to make a name for himself, then I think you gotta face the facts. Like SmackDown's next draft pick, Kurt Hawkins.
This guy used to be a primetime player. Raw's gonna see if we can make him great again, Darren Young.
Alright, for SmackDown's final pick, we're gonna see this guy. He's kind of an X Factor. He's an unknown. He's an enigma. We're gonna see what Sawyer Fulton offers to SmackDown Live.
Alright, rounding off our last pick for our women's division, we're gonna bring on Tamina.
Alright guys, well that wraps up our 2K18 draft. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to make sure that you keep up to date with all of our upcoming shows. We're really excited to share our creative vision with you. So be sure to follow the channel, leave us a like, leave us a comment to let us know what you thought of this entire little draft, and we will see you all next time.